seriously en route, humbling God's faithfulness. Naomi lost everything. Her husband was dead, and her 2 sons had died too. After moving back to Israel, Ruth began working in Boaz's field. When Naomi found that out, she realized that Boaz was their family's redeemer. He could save the family. He could marry Ruth. After a little matchmaking, Ruth went to go talk to Boaz. She asked him to redeem her, and he said he would marry her. But wait, there's a problem. Another man was first in line to marry Ruth, so Boaz went to go talk with him. Will Ruth marry this stranger, or will she end up with Boaz? Will this story have a happy ending or end in another tragedy? We'll find out today in the final part of the story of Ruth. So just sit back, relax, and enjoy Ruth, following God's faithfulness.
Feel like I did that song.
Let's see. How am I going to find this other guy, this fellow kinsman redeemer? It's not like he's just going to walk through the gate or anything. Oh my goodness, that's him! Okay, I see you. Excuse me, sir. Come over here and have a seat, my friend.
My distant cousin Boaz? What are you doing in these parts? Are you supposed to be herding sheep or counting cattle or something?
I work with agriculture, Asher. I raise crops.
Okay, whatever. What do you need?
I need to set up a meeting with you and talk about something really, really important. It's a legal matter.
You have such a busy schedule. Listen, I need to get back to my job of building buildings for professional, major businessmen, rich people. You get it. All right, I don't have time for you.
Whoa. Let me go talk with the council and see if you can't arrange something.
Hey, listen. If you get a day with the council, I'll see if I can squeeze it in my schedule. All right?
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you so much, Ash. I really appreciate it.
I'll see you around. All right?
Thank you. Council. Michael! Michael's one of the top members of the board. I gotta go find Michael. Oh, Michael, my friend, how are you doing?
Boaz, my friend, it has been far too long.
Oh,
what brings you into the city?
Well, I'm getting married. Well, at least I think I am.
You're not so sure?
You know Ruth?
Oh, yes, the Moabite woman.
Yeah, her. I want to marry her. But there's a problem. Asher is actually the nearest kinsman redeemer. And I wanted to get the council involved in on the meeting so that I can make sure that it's just and that eyewitnesses are there.
Yes. Boaz, I think you have bigger problems. Before Elimelech passed away, he left this. It's the title to his land. It's a lot of land. It goes to his heir. As the widow of his son, all that land goes to Ruth. Whoever marries Ruth gets the land.
And Asher?
Well, Asher, he loves money. And a lot of land, that's a lot of money. But, you know what? We'll get to that when we get there. So why don't I get the city councilmen together and we'll have a meeting. I'll do it as soon as I can.
All right, thank you so much, Michael. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Boaz.
Isaac.
Hey, sorry I'm late. How did the meeting go? Is the council on board?
Isaac, we have a really big problem. Ruth's gonna inherit a lot of land when she gets married.
And why is that a problem?
Because Asher, her nearest kinsman redeemer, he loves money. And all that land means a whole lot of wealth. He's gonna redeem the land and then marry Ruth. I knew this was too good to be true.
Boaz, don't talk like that. Listen to me. God is a faithful God. He holds the future in his hand. He's got this, Boaz. I don't know what's going to happen next, but God does. We've got to trust him.
I know, but bro, I just really want to marry Ruth.
I know you do, man. I know. And God knows that too. We'll just have to see how the meeting goes there.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mike, for having this meeting.
Yes, my pleasure. Well, at least some of us are on time.
Yeah, Asher, he's always
Hey,
running late.
how are you? Sorry, I'm late.
Council is in session!
Asher, as you're aware, our relative Naomi has come back from Moab and was recently widowed. And with her husband's passing, he left behind, well, a lot of land and some other things attached to it.
Come on. Well, what does this have to do with me?
Well, see, Naomi's selling the land and I was hoping to buy it. But after doing a little research, I realized that you are the kinsman redeemer, and which makes you first in line to redeem the land. So, I guess buy it in the presence of these men, and if you redeem it, redeem it. But if not, please, Asher, let me know.
Land. You know, I'd be glad to help Naomi out with a small problem.
So, you want to redeem the land and everything that comes along with it? Because if you don't, I'd be glad to redeem it for you.
Because if you don't, it'll be good. Come on, man. Listen, you talk me into it, alright? I guess I'll just have to buy the land and increase my wealth.
Okay, well, perfect. I'm so happy for you and your marriage.
Wait, marriage?
Yeah, to Ruth, the Moabite. She was also widowed. She's Naomi's mother, her daughter-in-law. But don't worry, all you'd have to do is buy a bigger house.
Now, what? A bigger house?
Well, yeah, for Ruth, because, you know, you have to provide for her when you buy the land, because technically the land is actually hers, and the family name must go on. So, a bigger house, that's it.
Hold on, this is all going really, really fast.
Yeah, and then along with the bigger house, you'd also, you know, have to care for Naomi, her mother-in-law as well. So, a bigger house on the field, you know, more food for them, money for Ruth to go shopping. She'd probably even want a pet.
What? This is ridiculous. What are all these stipulations?
Yeah, well then, can't forget the kids.
The kids?
Well, yeah, Asher, with your 9 to 10 kids, there'll never be a dull moment in your life. But don't worry, $2,000, you should be able to provide for your growing family.
Enough! I need a moment of silence to think about this, man. I don't think I can do it.
Do what?
I don't think I can marry her. I can't take care of the land and take care of Ruth and all these kids. Come on, man. Why don't you do it?
Are you sure?
Hear ye, as the city council has witnessed this negotiation take place, Boaz is now the sole redeemer of Elimelech's inheritance. You can marry Ruth.
I don't know what to say. Thank you so much.
May the Lord make the woman who is entering your homes lift up the house of Israel. May you act righteously, and may you be renowned throughout all the land of Bethlehem. And may there be many blessings on the many children that are to come. And most importantly, may you and your future wife be a testimony of God's faithfulness.
Thank you so much for your blessing, Michael. Thank you for everything. But I gotta get going. I gotta go find Ruth.
Go to her, boys.
I will. Thank you.
Wow. Finally, it looks like something is going right for Ruth, right? After all of those hard things, let's get it quiet. After all of those hard things that she went through, she lost her husband and she had to travel to a foreign country, right? With her mother-in-law, all of those things. We were wondering, where was God in all of that? And now we're starting to see the story come together, okay? The story's not quite over, but I just want to talk to you guys a little bit about something. See, Ruth, get it quiet. Ruth probably didn't feel like she was ever going to have anything good come out of her life, right? All of those things were going wrong. And probably felt like, what can God use me for? Everything just goes wrong for me. But I want to tell you guys today that God could use Ruth. And we're going to see at the end of the story that God used Ruth and her story in a very, very important way. And I want to tell you about that. But I also want to tell you that God can use you. God can use each one of you. It doesn't matter what your story has been up to this point, right? Some people might say, there's a lot of excuses that people use for why God might not be able to use them, right? What are some of those things that sometimes people might say? I sometimes wonder if God can use me, right? Some people might say, oh, I'm not good enough, right? I just don't have what it takes. Or I mess up too much, right? Do you think Ruth thought that maybe she just messed up too much at the beginning of her life? That's why all those things were going wrong. Or you might say, well, I really don't have any special talent. I don't have anything I can do to offer, right? Or I don't know what to do. I'm too young, right? You might say, I'm too young. I want to tell you, let's keep it quiet, okay? I want to tell you that God can use you. Those list of excuses, that doesn't stop God, right? It didn't stop God in Ruth's story. See, God's not looking for a perfect person. He's not looking for somebody who already had everything go perfect in their life, but He's looking for somebody who's willing. Willing to what? Willing to be faithful, like Ruth was. Willing to obey God. Even though she didn't understand, or you might not understand why the things in your life go the way they are. You might not understand how what's happening now in your life is ever going to turn into something good. Shh. We want to get to the rest of the story. Let's just pay attention a little bit. Here's a picture of a man. Let's get it quiet. Have any of you guys ever seen a video of this man? Alright. This man, do you think this man would have an excuse to say, God can't use me? I mean, no arms, no legs. How's he ever going to do anything great? This man, when he was a young man, he decided that he's not going to let his disabilities, his lack of arms and legs stop him. And here's a quote that he said. If God can use a man without arms and legs to be his hands and feet, how ironic is that, right? God can use him as his hands and feet. Then He can certainly use any willing heart. And that includes you guys, right? God can use you guys. There's a verse I want to leave with you guys. 2 Corinthians 12 verse 9 says, but He said to me, my grace is sufficient for you. For my power, this is God's power, is made perfect in weakness. Right? Therefore I will boast all the more gladly of my weaknesses, so that the power of Christ may rest upon me. Okay, I want to explain that. When we're weak, right, when we don't have arms and legs like Nick, or when we say, my life is too messed up, it's in those weaknesses that God wants to use you. In Ruth's life, her weakness, she had to travel out of her country. She had no husband. But God used that to show His power. Right? So God can use you in your weakness, what you think is your weakness, because God is faithful. Alright? God, one more point. God uses ordinary people like me, and like you, and like you, and like you. He uses ordinary people to carry out His extraordinary plan. His amazing plan. Ruth was just an ordinary person, but God used her life, alright? 1 Peter 4:10 says, as each one has received a gift, that means all of us have received a gift. We need to use it to serve one another as good stewards of God's very grace. All right? Remember that. God can use you. And let's see how the story of Ruth ends.
Hey guys, have you guys seen Ruth? I'm looking for Ruth. I really need to find her. I gotta find Ruth. Have you seen her? You guys know where Ruth's at? Where's she at? Oh, Ruth! Ruth!
Boaz!
I can marry you. I can redeem you. There were a few complications, but we got it figured out. I just have one question for you.
What might that be?
Will you marry me?
Where's Boaz? I never would have thought this would be possible. Me and you, who would have thought?
God in His great plan knew all of this would happen. He is so faithful, even when we don't understand.
God is good, Boaz.
That He is. Come, we must go tell Naomi the joyous news.
Tell me. Boaz proposed to me. What? And I said yes! I knew it! I knew this would all work out. Thank you, Naomi. It feels like a dream.
But it's not. I get to marry Ruth.
You bet you do. Okay, let's go and eat a meal and plan this whole wedding. I'm so excited.
That sounds wonderful.
Since Ruth and Boaz got married.
Speaking of the wedding, it was fabulous. And they spared no expense. It must have cost a fortune. Spending all that money on a wedding? What a waste.
Here they come. My grandson, you are such a blessing to us.
Yes, Naomi, it's true. You are blessed. For He has not left you without a redeemer. May He become famous throughout all of Israel. For He has redeemed you in your old age.
Your daughter-in-law loves you. She's more to you than 7 sons. And she's the one who's given you your only grandchild.
Where's my son at?
I think it's my turn with the baby.
Okay.
I wonder what the future holds for you, my little one.
He could grow up to be a farmer or a soldier, maybe a king, or even a prophet.
Maybe he just needs to be the greatest thing a man can be. A father. His children will be his greatest legacy.
Naomi was right. When he grew up, my kid did become a dad. It was beautiful to watch him be a father to his own children. Crazy thing is, he was actually the grandfather of King David. I know, right? David, the man famous for killing Goliath, the man after God's own heart, he was my great-grandson. And you know what's even crazier? Was that David was an ancestor of Jesus Christ himself, which means that Jesus was my great-great-great-great-great-great-grandson. When I look back on all this, my life and my story, I look back on the faithfulness of God. He was with me when I married Chilian. He was with me when I moved from Moab. He gave me Naomi as a mother-in-law. He placed me in Boaz's fields. I mean, what are the odds that I would work in his fields and that one day he would be my husband? Whenever I think about our love story, my heart just glows in awe and gratitude at the goodness of our God. He was there for me in the good times and bad, and He was faithful through all of it. God is always with us, even when we feel like He isn't. He is. God is always faithful. He never, ever changes. And my story is proof of that.